What does it mean to carry a century of legacy on your shoulders? To be raised on stories of valor and then live them yourself. Today, we raise a toast to a man who's not just served but also shaped the Indian Army and whose bloodline reads like a chapter from our military history. Major General Vijay Singh, Sena Medal, Vashishta Siva Medal, retired, who also happens to be my cosmate from NDA. Let's move on to the next segment now, which is about your accomplishments, being an author, an athlete, and an excellent officer with achievements. Starting off with the author part of it, you just told us about the book Prisoner of War 1971. So, firstly, what inspired you to write it? And what surprised you the most during the research while writing the book?
What actually happened, like I mentioned earlier, that I was in touch with my father and grandfather. And my grandfather was, when I was young, he had retired and settled in the village. And we used to spend many holidays with him in the village.
Right.
And whenever I used to go with him, I used to be talking to him. And those days we were into the comics, commando comics and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I found it very interesting because he had fought Rommel in North Africa and all. He had those experiences of World War II.
Right.
Which we do, and in those days there was no TV and internet, etc. So we would spend hours discussing about these battles that he fought. Okay. And he was later a PW for he was a PW in Italy and how they escaped, and all those stories were really very close to my heart.
Right.
But when I became older and I realized that many of those stories I had forgotten.
Okay.
I had not really put them down anywhere. I had not made any notes. And so I think that part of our family history disappeared.
Okay.
And I was worried that since my father has had an experience of being over 1 year, in Pakistan as a PW.
Okay.
And he participated in a battle which was a very, difficult battle.
Right.
I thought that should definitely be shared in a form of a book, and I offered this story to a publisher, and they accepted it, and they asked me to write it. So I did then start with the project.
Right.
And you asked me what specifically surprised me. There were two aspects to it.
Okay.
Firstly, what surprised me as a person from that family was that when the close family read the book, none of them actually knew what had happened, because my father by nature was not a very talkative person.
Okay.
And in our types, it is not considered good to speak too much about yourself.
Right.
And perhaps there was some unpleasant memories also. There were difficult times. So he had never shared it with many people in the family, excepting us. To the children, he had spoken once.
Okay.
And told us over 3-4 hours. So no one in the family knew anything what he had gone through. So that is one part. The second part is when I was researching the book, I read a lot of historical books, and I really couldn't find too many battles in which you lost a battle, but despite the battle being lost, you've earned an award.
Yeah.
There are very few battles in the world today which I'm talking, and essentially attacks.
Right.
And this is like defense. When you're losing a battle, last man, last post, obviously, it was the case of Singh.
Yes.
So that's a different aspect. But in an attack, in a failed attack,
right,
there are very rare cases of awards being granted. One of the examples is the famous charge of the Light Brigade.
Okay.
Where the attack, and it was an attack, and they died, and there were so many Victoria Crosses given. I couldn't find too many, so I found that surprising. Okay. So I think that is something that we need to give credit to a person. As far as the soldier is concerned, he's fought a battle as hard as he could.
Absolutely.
But if he's lost the battle, it's not probably because of lack of fighting spirit. It may be a plan one or it may be a bad luck or whatever. But credit also needs to be given to people who fight these lost battles. That's something that surprised me in this entire process of writing the book.
I think Vijay, we need to set apart a different time to discuss in detail. It seems to be a very, very interesting prospect. Actually, discussing with you how this entire episode actually was played out. So we will take some more time from you a little later. Moving on to the next question now. You now this is the sportsman part that we discuss. I have known you to be a very avid sportsman, a very passionate one from India. And of course, you said Lawrence School also, you were a very, very passionate and a good sportsman there. So, being a sportsman, actually rubs off on your leadership journey one way or the other, or in a very, very majorly fashion. How exactly did this come about in your life?
See, one thing is that, like I mentioned to you, leadership is also about being participative. So the moment, and that's why in the army, there's a lot of value given to team sports.
Correct.
Because when you play in a team, then you are participating, you know exactly how a person, what are his weaknesses, his strengths, his stamina, his courage, all those things come out very easily.
Absolutely.
So when you are playing those games, you actually learn a lot about leadership. And instantly in the men, they start liking you because, they say that Sam, hamare saath khel rahe hain, he's playing, and I was playing right up till I was a commanding officer. And,
Okay.
so therefore, those it became easier to establish yourself as a leader.
Absolutely.
It made it wherever you went, you could establish yourself better. So that way, I think it has a role which can be an important role for a leader if he can play or participate in games. So that for that advantage I had in life. I think that helped me a lot in my journey as a leader.
Excellent, excellent. So, no, going ahead with this now, you want your young officers to be also, exceptional leaders like you to follow in your footsteps. So, what games would you recommend our young generation of officers to, play so that they can also mingle, sweat and blood with it, so be better recognized and accepted as leaders by the men?
I think, as they say that there are games which are for hobbies, and there are games which are aiding your leadership skills.
Right.
So in that sense, no matter how well you play or you don't play, I think team games like football, hockey, wherever you are in basketball, volleyball, where you are a group of more than two, I think that definitely imparts the sense of belonging to you as a part of a team.
Right.
And therefore, I think in the young ages, when you're young, it would be of great assistance if you can take part in these sort of team games.
Yes.
And you may not be very good. You can, even if you're an average, you're trying your best,
Right.
as long as you don't hurt yourself.
Okay.
At the young ages, definitely this would be a great help to you. And as you get senior in life, you can change your games to different types of games which suit your age and your appointments, your time available to you. All those things could change as you get senior.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that's an advice the youngsters will lap up. We now come on to the next round, which is called the rapid fire round. I am going to shoot a volley of questions at you. You cannot duck. You will have to give me quick and fast and short answers. Right? Are you ready for this?
Yeah, absolutely. Bring it on.
Okay. All right. The first one. One battle you wish you had witnessed live in history.
Definitely. I mean, I would like to have been in the Battle of Basanta with General Hanuj Singh as my CO.
Yeah.
I'd like to get the feel after having heard of him so much. I would love to be part of the battle.
Absolutely. That's an easy guess. I should have guessed that and not given you this one. All right. Moving on to the next one. One historic military leader you wish you could have served with. Don't tell me General Hanuj. Give me a definite answer now.
Oh, I feel that in my field of work, I think Rommel would have been one leader I would have loved to.
Right.
The great battles that he fought and the unusual things he did was something I would have loved to be part of.
Excellent. I think that's an excellent answer. Even I'm a big fan of Erwin Rommel. Next question. This is a beautiful one. This is the IPR that you have with your tank and the tank has with you. If your tank could talk, right? If your tank could talk, what would it say about you and what would it say to you?
Well, I think probably it would have said that this guy is very comfortable with me.
Okay.
He loves his tank and more than any Formula 1 or Formula 2 car. And he's very comfortable. And if he had a choice, he would probably get back into a tank rather than be a senior officer.
Excellent. Excellent. And what would it say to you?
it would say to me that, we need to be together as a team and look forward to you joining the team. And miss you. Maybe it would say miss you.
Okay, that's an excellent reply there. All right. One book every young officer must read.
In terms of young officers, I've always been fascinated by the defense of the rougher's drift. Not because of the tactical content of the book, but because of the idea of going through different situations, analyzing them, and finding a better answer to it.
Right.
It does that over, if you remember that 6 dreams, 6 iterations. After 6 iterations, finally he comes to a plan and succeeds.
Right.
So the important thing for a young person is to analyze everything and try and improve on it so that you can make a better result.
Excellent. I think that's an excellent choice. And we come on to the next one now. You are a decorated officer and you've won medals. But what's that one invisible badge that you carry inside you which no one sees?
I love to duck this question. It would be lovely to duck these questions. But then let's say, I think I would feel that possibly integrity, because in no matter what I did in life in the army, I ensured that whatever I did was to the best of my ability, not to show someone, but for the improvement of that particular job. So that was something which I didn't, people may not have realized that it wouldn't be visible, but I worked very hard to do the best I could to do in that particular appointment. That was something which I always believed in.
Excellent. That's an excellent answer. Yeah. I couldn't think of this answer had I been in your situation. I would have said something else, more silly. All right, the next one. If you had to sum up your life's mission in one word, what would that be?
Only one word.
Yeah.
Which is a bit difficult. But I think...
you can take 2. You're my cosmate. I'll allow you 2.
No, I'll stick to 1. I think the word should be purpose.
Right.
I do feel that all of us need to have a purpose in life, in whatever we're doing. As long as we have a purpose, whether it is spiritual, whether it is professional, whether it is personal, jab tak jinda hai, we need to have some purpose.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, without a purpose, you'll be moving aimlessly, and that wouldn't be fun. I think purpose is something which I would think of.
Absolutely, and I know that you're still working after retirement. Of course, we'll talk about that in the next episode when we discuss other things. Okay, the next one. One thing every young officer must unlearn quickly. The advice that you would give to your son.
Oh, that is possibly the easier one. I would say unlearn bookish knowledge.
Okay.
Because for a youngster, it's good to have a backdrop of knowledge, but you need to validate that with your knowledge on ground. I mean, you could keep reading books, but that will not help you on ground.
Right.
You need to finish or forget the bookish knowledge, use it as an aid to your learning on ground.
Okay.
That is what I feel.
I think that's an excellent advice. All young officers must listen to this very carefully and imbibe it. Last question. Legacy or freedom? What matters more to you?
I think, legacy is something which you don't have control of. Legacy, if you are let's say you are from a very military background, that legacy will be there, and you would be ending up to be a part of the legacy. Okay. Or if you are a politician, your father may be a politician, but that doesn't guarantee that you will be a good officer or a good politician. It doesn't help you. So in that sense, I think freedom is something which we need to value. You have that legacy always with you that no one can take away from you. But value-wise, I would say freedom is perhaps a more valuable part of life.
All right. So those questions were well answered. Congratulations, Vijay, there. And we now come to the last segment, a toast to your legacy. Okay. Having known so much about you now, if there is one message that you would like to give to the young officers who are watching this episode, what would it be?
Oh, well, I will take that, you gave me 2 words. That time I used only 1 word. So now I will use 2 messages. As a postmate, I can take 2 messages.
Right.
The first message is that I firmly believe that we must have a personality. What has happened is over the years, if you remember our days, like when we were youngsters, we would remember people by their personalities. Absolutely. General so-and-so had a personality. General so had a personality. today I think those personalities are slowly diminishing.
Yes.
We are perhaps getting to a part in a phase in life where we want everyone to be similar. I do feel that youngsters must have a personality in whatever they don't need to copy anyone. They must have an individual personality. That's my first message to them.
Right.
And the second message I feel very strongly about, and this is something I used to inculcate in the senior command, is that we must know how to have professional disagreements. Because what has happened today is that everyone is tending towards becoming yes men. So for an officer, a senior officer, it is extremely important to have someone to give you true advice
Yes.
or to give you a true feedback.
Right.
But if that feedback is going to be only keeping in mind what I'm looking to hear,
Yes.
then we are losing a very important aspect of life. So I think we must learn to have professional disagreements. For junior officers, we must understand how to put across a point. We must be able to put across a point without sounding, impolite or other things. But we must disagree with what we feel is incorrect. And as senior officers, we must allow this professional disagreements without taking it personally or taking it against the ego.
Okay.
This is one thing which I think we are slowly
Absolutely.
something which we have to guard against in the army.
Absolutely. And I think you brought up two very, very pertinent messages, Vijay. And while you were talking, I was thinking about those. They are so closely interrelated, right? If you do not have an opinion of your own, then you do not have a personality or an identity too, right? If you have just been a yes man just to curry favors, so then you have to really suppress your personality to be that yes man. So, all linked. If you have personality, you would add an identity for yourself. You would not be a yes man and vice versa. Don't you agree?
Absolutely. And as senior officers, we must encourage it. If you don't encourage this, it's like someone saying, should we go to left? You say, yes, we should go left.
Yeah.
You say, no, I think right is better. Yes, the right is better. So you are not getting any feedback. Absolutely. And without feedback, no plan can work.
Absolutely.
No one is God, and you need to learn from, feedback that you receive. So I think that is something which is important.
Excellent. Now, that brings me to the last question of this very, very interesting episode. What's the one moment from your journey that still brings a smile or perhaps a tear?
Well, I think if I look at it that way, it is the entire service. I mean, when we were in NDA, from there to the end, it all seems to have gone so fast.
Yes.
It's very difficult to believe that we're retired.
I agree.
So when I look at it, I mean, that whole period of life is such an enjoyable, and there are challenges in life everywhere. But at the end of it, when you look at it, I think it was a fantastic time. And there are many, you miss those days of being in the army and working towards a purpose and, working hard to train, be prepared. And you miss an occasion like, recently you had these little battles that took place, 3-4 days in Sindhu. I wish I was there in Sindhu. The fact that life is no more available to you is something which brings you, it makes you feel sad. Absolutely. But then you look at the happy memories within that where you had these little successes in life. So a mixture of, nostalgia brings a bit of happiness and a bit of sadness together.
So, heartiest congratulations on a life well lived, Vijay, and all your accomplishments. It was really heartening, and inspiring to hear you out in the last 30 odd minutes. You are a man of purpose and you are a true leader. And I really appreciate these qualities about you. And I'm sure, you would still be contributing your best to wherever you're working right now. And everyone is going to, stands to gain from the efforts that you put in and the serious indulgence that you show in everything that you do. Heartiest congratulations.
Thank you so much. It was really nice talking to you, Tipsy, and I've known you as a thorough professional, and it's been wonderful to connect with you after such a long time. And I do hope that you have all success in this wonderful project that you have taken up.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Let me give you a formal farewell. From commanding tanks to commanding minds, from inheriting legacy to inspiring generations, Major General Vijay Singh shows us what it means to wear both pride and humility on your shoulders. Thank you very much, Major General Vijay Singh. And it was real fun and real inspiration to have you on our show. And we would love to have you on your show again, talking about POW 1971 and what exactly are your contributions that you're making right now to the society around you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Wonderful. Jai Hind. Look forward to catching up with you again. Thank you.
So, guys, that brings us down to the three essential takeaways from the two episodes combined. Number one, legacy is earned, not assumed. Being born into a family with over a century of military service may be a privilege, but Major General Vijay Singh reminds us that the real weight lies in honoring that legacy through action, not entitlement. It's a reminder for all of us. What you inherit must be lived up to with humility and purpose. Number two, leadership is a responsibility, not a rank. As commander of the Senior Command Wing, the General mentored over 2,000 future commanding officers, including India's first 100 plus batch of women commanding officers. His leadership philosophy, very simple, to shape leaders who serve with integrity, not ego. True leadership is about empowering others, not leading from above. Number three, pride and pressure can coexist. Watching his own son don the olive greens, the general shared the bittersweet pride of a father who knows what that uniform demands. Legacy can be both a source of strength as well as a silent pressure. And navigating that duality is what makes the journey meaningful. From a Veer Chakra earned in the face of failure to a father watching his son wear the same badge of honor. This episode wasn't just a tale of 5 generations. It was a lesson in humility, resilience, and silent strength. Major General Vijay Singh's story reminds us that the real weight of the uniform isn't the rank that you wear, it's the responsibility that you carry. Whether you're leading a unit or leading yourself, remember, legacy is not what you leave behind. It's what you live each day with meaning. This is Tipsy, signing off from yet another journey through honesty, heritage, and heart. Till next time, good luck and Godspeed. Jai Hind.